Welcome to episode 9 of the podcast that is called The Shift with Mike and Joe.
It has a name.
It has a name. It's called The Shift with Mike and Joe. This is episode 9, I think. Is that right, Mike?
I honestly don't know, dude.
All right. Well, I think that's right.
It depends on if we put out that last one we did or not.
We haven't put that one out yet.
Yeah.
Does that make
So this would make
Skywalker?
it 10, maybe?
I'll look it up while you talk.
All right. So, yeah, welcome to The Shift with Mike and Joe. And we have Rohry. Rohry, your last name is Flood, right?
Yes.
It is Flood.
Yes.
Okay. Flood as in like a lot of water comes in and floods something.
It's funny you say it because my son Isaac asked this morning, do you spell that F-L-W-D? I mean F-L-U-D or F-L-O-O-D? And I was like, I just assume
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Question that he asked.
I am.
But yeah, man, welcome, dude. I'm pretty super duper psyched to have you here. I'm sure
you.
Mike
I
is
appreciate
too.
the invite.
This will be
Yeah.
episode. We have 8 on there now, so
So this is 10.
10. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So yeah, Mike,
X.
do you want to start off with firing questions at Rohry, or should I? Or should we just continue talking about Hannah Montana and Eve 6?
No. Well, I asked Rory as a joke what his favorite Eve 6 song was. But it turns out we both secretly kind of like love Eve 6, which I was like trying to pretend like I don't care about Eve 6, but I do. So last night at my gig, I know we'll do questions in a minute. I got to talk first. Last night at my gig, the bartender at Ram's Head was like, he was like telling me about this. I usually let him play a song or two, and he was like, I found this. I can't remember which one has Promises on it.
Is that Horoscope? I don't think it's the self-titled.
No, it must be Horoscope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are Eve 6 albums you're talking about?
There
songs
was
and
a
albums.
third one.
Yeah.
As
Oh,
well,
okay.
yeah.
But there's a version, a Japanese version of that album that has them doing "Leaving on a Jet Plane." So he covered that last night. He covered that into Promises,
The
which is why Eve 6 was on my
cover
mind.
of Leaving on a Jet Plane?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that you could tell that.
And
based
who
on
covered
that.
it?
Eve 6 covered "Leaving on a Jet Plane," but then last night at my gig, the bartender covered. Yeah.
Cover of Leaving on a Jet Plane.
Well,
What
I ate
songs
my
did you
buffalo
play?
chicken sandwich or salad. What?
What songs did you play? Are you talking about Ram's Head last night?
Yes.
You're talking about- what songs did you play?
You want me to list all the songs I played?
Starting from the beginning. Did you
Let's
play anything
see.
new?
Yeah. I played, well, not new, but like new to me. Or no, like, I haven't played in a long time stuff. I played Trouble by Ray Montaigne. Haven't played that one for a while.
Oh, that's a good song.
It is a good song. Every time I play it, I'm like, gosh, this song is so smooth. Like, it just flows out. It's just so good. I played Oh My Sweet Carolina by Ryan Adams. Haven't played that one in a while. And
I don't know that one by name.
you would know it if you heard it. And then I played that song that you stole from me, Tupelo.
Played that first. Do you know Jason Isbell?
Yes.
Of
What do you
course
mean,
you do.
Isbol?
Isbell.
Ooh, watch out, Joe. Where we
Sorry,
coming
Jason.
from?
I didn't mean to mess up your last name, but yeah. Tupelo is one of my favorite songs, and I started playing it first, and then Mike jacked it from
It's
me.
not true.
Along
Joe-
with that other Jason Isbell song,
Which one?
Cigarettes and Wine. I started.
I
Playing
don't play that
first.
anymore.
Whatever.
I play Alabama Pines in place of that.
Oh, yeah. That's a good
Anyway,
one.
so let's ask Rory some questions.
Okay.
Well, we could talk about Jason Isbell all day.
He's
Do you like
freaking
Jason
awesome.
Isbell? Are you-
Obsessed,
yeah?
yeah.
Yeah.
Obsessed,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, an amazing songwriter. Is that okay, Joe, that's tilted?
It's fine.
You
It is
can
what
go
it
over that?
is, man. You
Not
know,
going to get up in the middle
I
of the
can't.
podcast?
I'm stuck here because of this microphone, so I
You need the
can't reach
extra
up there.
heat
yet.
to try and get that lava lamp going. So.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, it'll kind of like face some heat towards there.
If you're watching this online, don't forget to mark like at the moment when the lava lamp first moves.
That's a good point.
go.
Yeah, yeah,
Wait.
or before.
That reminds
Keep out of
me
it.
of, this isn't so much a question, but Rory, something about you. When I think of Rory Flood, I think of marketing genius.
Ooh,
Like, seriously, dude. Like, so first of all, Rory runs, for everyone will know this that it's watching, that would ever watch this probably, but Rory runs Cult Classic, which is an awesome brewery in
Right over there?
Stevensville, right across the highway. It's the premier music spot around here for musicians. Listening room, all that good stuff. Where do I look while I'm talking? Like when I'm addressing the
you should probably look up at the ceiling.
yeah, it's really cool. But like Rory, we were just talking. You have line dancing on Thursdays. You have a farmer's market there. You've got Wingo, which I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it looks cool.
It's like bingo, but you win chicken wings and shots of tequila.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm blanking out a little bit, but like every time I turn around, there's some kind of cool event happening.
Yeah, we're definitely assaulting the community with programming.
Yeah.
After 4:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But it brings them in, and we have an amazing musical community where we live, right? I mean, you guys have all taken the stage, and you guys played amazing shows there. So
I played the grand opening.
that's right.
That was a
Did
good
you really?
time.
Right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
They were like, don't tell Joe about this. Like, would you play?
I was probably in my when my life was like down in the gutter. That was probably when that happened.
Yeah, that might be. Yeah.
How long has Cult been open now?
It'll be 7 years in August.
Oh, okay.
So what is it? It's March now, so we're 4 months
I
away.
had my shit together by then, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
You just didn't call me.
Your anniversary.
I appreciate that.
I think that was part of the rider I put out was like, I'll play this as long as Joe's not on the bill or something like
Yeah, you
that.
guys
Right.
were beefing pretty hard. You had a whole Hall & Oates thing.
It was that. Yeah, it was that year when Mike and I were like fighting a lot. Yeah.
That year.
Yeah. So, but how did you fall into the Cult Classic thing? Not fall into. I don't mean to say it like that,
backwards, definitely in
Yeah?
the dark. Yeah, no, I was at Flying Dog Brewing up in Frederick and had some like major life change stuff happen, and decided to come back to the shore where I had been for like 15 years or so, and got a call from our mutual friend Forrest Anderson.
Yes, Forrest.
And a buddy that owns a construction company was doing a build out for the brewery at the old Acme, and so I just kind of said goodbye to everything out there and came back here. And
What was your role? Like, what when you started there? Because now, I don't even really know what your role is now, other than marketing genius. But like, what did they hire you as?
So I did the actual construction for us, and I did the build out, and then with the crew from RE Construction, and then I ran a food truck when we first opened because there was no food options.
I
It was
remember
just
that, yeah.
kind of popcorn and beer. And then I came on and started programming events, and now I am the lead custodian officially.
Lead custodian.
Yeah. Nobody takes out more trash than I do.
Are you responsible for those signs in the bathroom that tell you whether your pee is hydrated or not?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm not a doctor though, so you don't have to like tell me your ailments or show me pictures of stuff happening to you or anything.
I did try to show you that my blue pea picture earlier. You were not into that. It was like, I thought of all people, Rory would be like, yeah, let me see, but no.
It's like,
There's something.
no, not interested
You were
in
saying
that.
people do like to show you pictures. Of their-
It's crazy, but yeah.
Cool.
Well, that's cool.
So that was like post hot tub limo.
Yeah, we
Right,
were
just
wrapping up
barely.
Hot Tub right
Yeah.
as that was gearing up, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about. Do you have? Can I just keep?
Go
going?
ahead,
You
man.
do it?
No,
Okay.
you're good.
I wanted to ask you about. This is like in no particular order right now, but these are like things I wanted to ask you about that I know I've talked to you about at some point, but not on camera, obviously, and probably we were both wasted when we had the conversation, so I don't fully remember it. But I remember something about you putting on cruises with Hot Tub Limo.
Yeah, he was telling me about that yesterday.
And me thinking that is so freaking cool. Like, can you tell me about
So
that?
it was just one.
Okay. Hey.
It was a good experience, but I don't think I like spending 7 days on a boat with chemical toilets.
Oh, it was a 7-day cruise.
Yeah, it was like a
Oh,
legit
wow.
cruise, dude. Like,
I thought it was like an evening cruise.
no, like I was telling you, it was like a carnival cruise, like with
Wow.
Hot Tub Limo. Right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, out of Baltimore. And
That's cool.
So they have like extra stages, and we basically coordinated it so that we could sell like a bank of people to come on the boat, and then we would put on a number of shows throughout the week. But it was open to everybody, and we just kind of threw down on one of their stages a couple times.
How many tickets was it? Like everybody on the boat?
No, so I think the boats hold like maybe this is probably completely inaccurate, but I want to say it was like maybe 500 people or so, or 500 rooms or whatever. And I think we probably did like 60 or 70 bookings. Like
That's still pretty
total.
good though.
Yeah, I mean the cruise line did really well.
At the very least, you got a free cruise out of it, right?
Yeah, I mean we
but you ended up
basically
making-
once we hit our ticket sales, we didn't have to pay for anything except for the bottomless drink ticket, which was 15 drinks a day.
That's not bottomless at all.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Very distinct bottom to that.
It gets me through like 9 a.m. That's super cool, man. I would love to. When did you do that? Like, how long has it been?
Probably 2014.
Oh, yeah?
2015. That sounds right. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that range.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was crazy. Right after Thanksgiving, I think we we went down to the Bahamas and came back to Baltimore.
Whose idea was that?
So actually, Justin Davis connected us with somebody from the cruise line.
Okay.
And once we got connected, everybody was like, "Well, you have to do it," and so we did.
How many shows did you play like during the cruise?
Probably 4.
Yeah.
I want to say maybe I think 4 because I don't think we played every day, and we would go down and this is when we were doing like 4-hour shows, so it'd be like 3 long sets with 2 short breaks that you don't really take a break, you just go to the bar and hang out with all the people who bought tickets to come hang out with you. So
Right.
Did you feel obligated? Like, I don't know if this is the right way to say this, but like when you weren't playing the shows, did you feel like obligated to go hang out with the people that came or whatever, or did you do your own thing or?
A little bit of both. We had we all had our significant others, shacked up with us at the time, and but then it was like a lot of the people who came were close friends too. So we did a lot of hanging out when we weren't playing music too. And the ship's open 24 hours. There's like pretty much something to do everywhere. So we met some crazy characters and made some good friends and we hung out with everybody, but nothing really felt like an obligation. I think the hardest thing to do was like the downtime we had in the Bahamas, trying not to get arrested.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you end up making any money off that?
I mean,
or was it more of like a free
paid
trip?
vacation kind of thing in that sense?
That's
like
cool.
actually paying for vacations, which are not cheap.
Yeah, so like in a way, that's cool.
Working vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe knows I like everything to have a bottom line.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. How do you monetize your bowel movements?
Mike's always like trying to get at like, how do I make money with this new idea that you have?
Hey, man.
Well, so you told us a little bit about like what's going on at Cult Classic, but what else? Like what things are happening at Cult recently and upcoming?
I think one of the big things we're doing right now is trying to maximize our outdoor potential. We have 25,000 square foot lot next to the 25,000 square foot building, and we've done 3 or 4 pretty massive outdoor shows.
Yeah.
Right now, like 1,000+ people, it's a lot of coordinating. You got like the sheriff's office, the county. You've got parking. You gotta be good neighbors with everybody because there's not parking for 1,000 people, even though there's like 9 restaurants in that area.
Yeah, that's crazy because that is a pretty big parking lot.
Yeah,
that Queen show. I was outside, and I'm like pretty far from Cult. Like I live over on Cox Neck Road, which is like across. And I walked outside, and it's like it sounds like there's a concert going on out here. And it's like, and I was like, oh yeah, that Queen thing's happening, and because Amy and I were looking at each other like, what the heck's going on? It was loud, bro. That was awesome.
They bring it, and those guys really brought it. That was like such a powerful, amazing show.
Yeah,
I bet
it's almost Queen is the group, but man, it's like you couldn't. It's like somebody took a snapshot from like 1982 when they played in Montreal and like pasted it to today.
Yeah.
It's like they all look it. It's not like they're wearing wigs and stuff. It's like the dudes
really
live it, which is awesome. For a tribute band.
Yeah,
that
is awesome, man.
Yeah.
So the outdoor potential. What else you got going on there?
We did that last year. We brought in several members of the Coral Reefers to play with Chris Sachs, who does a lot of Jimmy Buffett stuff, and they're coming back with even more people from the Reefers this year. So they basically do a Jimmy Buffett concert right around was that Labor Day when he passed. So that's really cool. We got the Wailers coming on Mother's Day.
Wow.
That's Bob Marley's son or something like that.
Yeah.
Grandson or something.
Yeah. I didn't look at the
some
family
type
tree,
of relation.
Yeah, there's definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And that's going to be outdoors.
Yeah. Yep. So that'll be a big one. And then we're trying to do some like really, really big ones at the end of the year. I might have to reach out to Eve 6 now that we've been talking about it.
Oh my gosh, bro! You better, man.
I mean,
I'll be the water boy or something.
Perfect. I will
Mike can
hold you to
open
that.
with Raylon Montaigne songs.
Yeah. I'll play all Eve 6 songs.
That is the dream, to open for somebody and just play all their hits.
All their songs.
Just on stage.
Where they go. I got to see Eve 6 when so my roommate from college
You
played,
really are a big fan, aren't you?
so my roommate from college played drums with Everclear for a while, and he was like,
I remember you saying.
and he was like, yeah, man, I'll get you into the show. And I looked at who was playing, and it was like Eve 6 was opening up, and I was just like, yes, this is going to be so awesome. Like, I don't care about Everclear at all, but Eve 6, I was just like fanboying out in the back the whole time. It was great.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Can I ask you? I don't know if this is public knowledge or not, but I know there was talk about like making the music room bigger. Is that still a plan? What's going on with that?
That is the plan. We've just kind of been it's more economic based right now, just with like rates changing and how easy it is to access money and not access money. So ultimately, the plan is to expand our current venue, which is 200. We have 7,000 square feet of unused space. We're gonna knock the wall down between it, turn the whole room into a stage that faces those 7,000 feet. But that involves. It's so it'll hold. The goal is 410 will be the new capacity if we can pull it all off. Wow. So and that's kind of determined by parking too. So that side lot will end up getting striped, but it'll still be cool for outdoor shows. But yeah, that's the idea. And then it involves building a second bar and a small kitchen, and then like a ton of bathrooms to handle the expansion on that front.
Everybody's got to pee. While they're there.
Yeah.
What celebrities?
You can put cameras in the urinals.
What celebrities are you going to put in the new bathrooms?
Good question. So Nicolas Cage, I gotta add to that one. I think maybe we'll do like rock star bathrooms.
Yeah.
Moving forward for the
cool.
venue.
You could do a
Right.
Steven Seagal bathroom.
That'd be pretty
General
sweet.
Commander Steven Seagal.
Hard to kill, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, man.
So when we played, when we played there the last time or the time before that or whatever, my fiance Jen came, and she was pretty tuned in by the time she got there.
What did you
And
just
she
say?
came out of the bathroom. Yeah, you knew that.
Your fiance?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, she came out of the Nicolas Cage bathroom,
you just
and
dropped
she
that
was like,
like it's no
"There's
big
this
deal."
guy all over the
She
walls."
doesn't know who Nicolas Cage is?
I guess not. She was like I said, she was pretty tuned in, but I was like, "It's Nicolas Cage," I was like, "Oh, okay." It was pretty cool.
Nicolas Cage is awesome.
But yeah, that sounds awesome, man. I'm pretty psyched to I'm sure that's going to take quite a while to get that, But
And it's a big empty shell right now, so it's really just a matter of like when lending rates vary a little bit in favor of money being accessible.
right.
It's like we do really well, but we don't have $1 million sitting in the bank.
Yeah. Mike does. I
Still
think.
a lot of
Pretty
money.
sure
You do?
I probably
What's the
do.
bottom line on that?
Probably. Yeah, what's the bottom line, Mike?
I'm close to being a millionaire. I'm just saying. We're working there.
That's awesome.
We're getting there.
That's awesome.
I mean, so millionaire in terms of like assets to debt ratio, not like.
Are you being serious?
No,
That's
Wait, are
pretty.
you
That's
being
amazing. Good for
serious?
you.
I am being serious. Yeah,
Can I ask a question?
sure.
So do you have a particular when you come up with all these different ideas? And I hope it's okay that we just talk about Cult a lot because
yeah.
it's kind of like you are the face of Cult in my eyes anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Poor business.
But I see all these cool ideas, man, and all these different events that you guys put on, and I'm sure that you're probably coming up with a lot of you have a huge part in coming up with these ideas. Do you have a process of how you come up with these awesome ideas, or do they just come to you?
I think more so I would say I kind of bring them to life. But my secret weapon is I keep this notebook, and when we're kind of BSing at the bar or whatever, and people say something crazy and off the wall, and you're like, you know what, nobody does that. That might just be a thing. And then sometimes it's already a thing, and you don't reinvent the wheel. You just say, hey, let's introduce this to this area because we're not doing anything like it. And sometimes you're like, let's do the weirdest thing possible and see if it works. And
that's so simple but a great idea. Yeah. So what's your what was your favorite most weirdest interesting event that you've
That's
come
what I
up
was
with so
wondering,
far? I asked it first.
It's okay, Joe. It's not a competition.
Yes, it is.
oh, geez, there's some there's some crazy ones. I mean, like
Top 3.
I'm very proud of what Wingo has become, because it was an offhanded kind of joke. It was just like, oh hey, let's just give out chicken wings and tequila
Instead of money.
and it was like bingo. So we kind of thought it would be like an older crowd that was coming in, and it wasn't, and it's not. I mean, it's all age. I mean, like 8 to 88
Really?
kind of thing. And people,
You give an
people
80-year-old
kinda go,
whiskey?
they
Just dip the wing in the tequila.
Yeah, I have a rack in my office of tequila bottles, and then I write down the child's age, so when they turn 21, we can.
You
Really?
can give it to him.
That's fun.
Or do
but
you keep track of it in your notebook?
Yeah. It's recorded somewhere.
2037, I can give him this bottle of tequila.
That's cool. 8 to 88.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, I don't on the spot. I'd really have to.
They're just all of them are just so cool.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's like really crazy stuff that like falls into our lap. Like I got a phone call on a Saturday night. We do SantaCon,
Right.
which is like a bar crawl between a bunch of local bars. We all pick a charity. We give a portion of sales back, and everybody dresses in holiday theme. And we're doing this. It's crazy. There's like 400, 500, 600 people in and out all night. You can't see the floor. The lines are backed up, and I get a phone call.
That's right. SantaCon was going on the last time I was playing there. It was a shit ton of people there.
Yeah, that's right. You were.
Yeah,
That was the country tribute show.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah.
And I got a phone call from John Weed, and he's like, "Hey man, can you have like a free show for Saliva tomorrow on your stage?" And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, why would Saliva come play a free show? And so I was like, I'll text you in the morning. And he's like, they need an answer now. And I was like, okay, hold on. So then I went and checked, and I was like, yeah, we're available. And so we had like, I don't know, like 20 hours to like get together marketing, let people know the show was coming. And
Wow.
It was really cool because, it opened the door for a lot of other stuff, but it was like still the original guitar player who has since passed. And man, they just rocked the stage. It was, and they have like a ton of hits. It's one of those.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh
you
yeah, I
forget.
know those guys, and then they start going into them. And you're like, these aren't even deep cuts. These are
Yeah.
all like major radio play and like a bunch of like probably Fast and the Furious movies and other
Right,
ones,
right.
So
That's cool. When was that?
The day after SantaCon.
yeah, but it was probably 3 years ago now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of the
Thinking about
country tribute show, I mean, I think those tribute shows are really awesome.
They are. They're great
having
ideas.
For those that don't know, having local bands cover a specific band. So, like, you've done Chris Stapleton. I've never been
CCR.
asked to do one, but, you know,
That was
whatever. Somebody did Pearl Jam.
Josh did
Willis
Pearl Jam recently.
Yeah. You've done...
the Woodstock one, those got pretty wild. We did Woodstock 99 twice.
Yeah, Sam Pugh
Oh,
did
wow.
something like that. Like, yeah. But I just think that's a great idea, man. And you pack the place for those, don't you? I mean, they get...
Yeah, but I mean, everybody knows they're gonna get what they want. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and my favorite part about those things is like we'll get 5 bands and we'll have like 20 of the best musicians within like a 30-40 mile radius, all in the same room at the same time,
Yeah.
hanging out with each other.
That's my favorite thing about Cult, man. Every time I do anything there, it's like there's just this, even like Talent Tuesday after, like the day after, there's just this like buzz. It's just like, gosh, I love, you know, it like reignites, and the songwriter showcases that I've done there, like it's just always a magical experience, and it's just so good, and it like just inspires me. And I think everyone that's why everyone's willing to host Talent Tuesday for, you know, I'm not gonna say what it, but it's, you know, it's not a huge paying thing, but it's like, who cares? Because, or play there even, you know, it's like it's just such a cool music spot that, you know,
It is. It kind of has like I don't know. It's like that kind of feeling is like lost these days. So it kind of feels like it's like a place that would have been around in the 70s or 80s or 90s. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I'm not sure if I'm explaining that right, but
Yeah, I know what you mean. I feel like a lot of times, like music kind of feels like they're very silo based, and it's like, I'm an artist, and this is my genre, this is my town, and this is where I play, and these are my venues, and I don't, you know, like there's like, for whatever reason, it's like people don't want to play nice with each other, like you're in competition. It's like, all of us are here to like improve everybody else's life.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
make sure people have a good time.
Yeah, it almost like you guys obviously are good business people because you've been around for a while now, but like it doesn't even necessarily feel like a business. It almost feels like it's just a hangout spot.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
It's like a TV show business.
Yeah, the-
Like Cheers,
Right.
yeah, or
Right.
something. Exactly.
The finances
yeah.
don't matter. It's just
Yeah.
like everybody's having a good time.
No, I am definitely guilty of. One of our big things that I fight for is 100% of tickets go back to our artists,
Which is awesome.
That's like,
and
yeah,
it's
that's
like
amazing.
nobody does it. Like you
Right.
look at when we look at what other companies' rates are and stuff. It's like, good Lord, how can you even afford to like get there? Like you make
Yeah.
twice as much if you played here.
Right.
But
Yeah.
But I think ultimately for me, like and this was a vision we saw 7 years ago, was the way you think about like grunge exploding out of the Pacific Northwest in the late 80s, early 90s. And it was like, and all of a sudden it wasn't just that it was this one genre that was big and everybody like kind of touched into it in some way, shape or form. But it was the fact that they were all friends with each other. And like you can go back and see pictures of all these huge artists now that are like mega superstars just hanging out at like 18, 19, 20 with each
Right.
other.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. Like my goal would be for whenever it happens, a few years from now or further down the road, people to be like, wow, the Annapolis, Chesapeake Bay, Eastern Shore, Kent Island region, man, like all these musicians came out of there, all the music hit at the same time. They're all good friends with each other.
Yeah.
And everybody's experiencing everything we have to offer on a grander scale.
And 30 years from now, there's pictures of all these awesome artists hanging out at Call Classic.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
No,
There's like some ratty
that's-
documentary about how awful everything was.
Look at this venue where they all used to play.
Yeah, people punching holes in drywall for no reason.
I mean, during COVID, you guys were the only game in town. Like, and it meant a lot to me. Like, I think I approached you about the farmers market. Like, could I just play outside the farmers market? You're like, hell yeah, come on down, And it's like, and people tipped, and then like that's when I remember the first time I think we put a show on with that guy. Oh gosh, the soul singer guy.
Yes.
TA.
Yep.
And you were like, yeah, like 100% tickets go to you guys. And it was like during COVID, that was like a payday. I mean, during COVID especially, it was like, and I was just like, man, this is freaking awesome, because every other like put a show on place takes like at least 50% or more. It's
Yeah. I mean, I get the business behind the overhead. Like the speakers don't last forever. The gear gets
Yeah.
beat up. Stuff walks. Not too much around us, luckily. But and then but outside of that, you're paying the sound tech and that crew, and you're paying a door guy. So it's like it doesn't cost you a fortune to put on a great show if you got a great venue. And I think, like you said earlier on, the listening room feature. There's just I played 1,000 shows at bars that there's like 9 TVs going, and
Yeah.
sometimes the jukebox is still playing in one half of the room.
That's the most
and, like,
annoying thing ever.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I mean, unless you know all the songs the jukebox is playing and just like totally make a joke out of it.
Right.
But yeah, so we wanted a space that felt like you can go in there and you're just there for the show.
Right.
And it's a good feeling, like when you're on stage. You guys know.
absolutely, dude.
And it's also
it's
also really cool how like it is a separate room, but then there's this giant bar like lounge area too. And even though you guys shut the doors, it's I don't know, it's just neat how it's set up that
something for everybody.
you
for
can
sure.
walk out there and you can come back in, and it's still connected even though there's doors there. It's just cool the way the whole place is set up.
And you guys have always been, I mean, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but like I run a music school here, and Rory's always had when we do camp, it's always come on in, use the stage, invite it's for the kids to go and play at a place like that. It's such a cool introduction to like, here's what playing music could be like. Even
Right.
though we all know it's not always like that. It's like for the kids, they get to hang out in the green room, and they get to sign the wall, and they get the smoke or the fog and the lights, and there's a sound person, and it's like, it's so cool to like bring the kids in there and teach them like, you don't touch anything until the sound person tells you to, and like just all the because and then they come like see me play at a bar, and they're like, this is not at all what that was like. But it's really I appreciate that, and I know the kids do. And so anyway, thanks, bro.
Of course.
It's really cool.
That's super cool.
We love like yours, School of Rock, Garrett Park. I mean, we probably do 20 of those shows a year, and there could be, anywhere from 10 to 25 students in the groups. And man, it's like statistically, some of these kids are gonna hit it big. You know what I mean? Like they're like 9 and 10, and they're already holding like really good beats, and like I mean, some of their voices are like awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, the music's great because it's like you're gonna hear Green Day like 35 times.
Right. Yeah, it's like a lot of the
all
same
the music
stuff.
from like when we were kids. Like, oh, this is so cool, and you're like, oh, they still think it's cool, but
It is wild.
Yeah.
It is wild to see because I usually let my kids pick their songs, to some extent. And the stuff they bring up, like nobody's bringing up anything that's within the last 20 years. It's all like,
Probably because a lot of that grunge was like power chords and like easy to play.
Maybe,
but
yeah, I don't know, but they just dig it, man.
Yeah.
It's
kind of funny. My son's 10 and he's almost 11, and he's kind of gotten past the phase. It was like maybe a year or so ago where he's like, Dad, can I listen to Nirvana? And I'm like, yeah, man, sure. And he had one album, like that was the only like actual album he could listen to, and it was Nevermind. And he asked me to put it on this little MP3 player, and he listened to it on the bus. And that's exactly what I did. Like I listened to Nevermind every day on my Walkman on the bus, and it was such a cool like nostalgic kind of thing. But I'm like, Nirvana, huh? Okay, that's from like 1994, right?
You're probably gonna get beat up.
No, it was cool.
Yeah,
like it was like that was the thing at that time. And it was like a year and a half ago. Now I guess now it's not cool anymore, but at least it was for a period of time.
I was sitting in the living room the other night, and Carter, he's 15, he's in the other room, and I just hear "Come As You Are" on the acoustic.
Nice. Yeah,
he's like slowly teaching himself. It's super cool.
Yeah,
I had the exact same experience with I teach at Y River Upper School, and sometimes I'll let the kids just kind of like have some free time to play, and I heard "Come As You Are" coming out of one of the little practice rooms. This like 15-year-old girl just banging it out, man.
Are they like, hey, Mr. Waski, listen to this?
Sometimes.
What do they call you? What's your name?
They usually call me Mr. Wazowski. I'm like, you stupid freaking kids, it's not my name. No, they call me that or Mr. Waski.
Nice. Mr. Wazowski.
Yeah.
Last year it was just Mike. Now it's Mr. Waski, right?
Oh, dude, I've tightened the ship up.
Tightened it up.
Yeah. But because I've tightened it up, now I can let them like play the instruments without it being mass chaos. Like they started covering this last class period. I have them playing "Kids" by MGMT.
Nice.
That's a great song.
They're into it, bro. They like it.
You did a pretty good job of that when we did it. Did you ever see that? The video that we did up here of Mike covering "Kids."
I haven't.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought
it didn't sound great, but it looked cool.
It did look cool. Mike, you weren't too happy with it, but I thought it was good. I thought he did a good job.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But
His hair was great
that day. How did you get into music, though? Like you personally? Because you play, we haven't really said this, but Rory plays bass and has played bass and you played drums for a while with me. You were coming up here doing drum lessons.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't say I play drums. Nobody needs to hear
Dude, no one knows. If you can play like 4/4 beat, everyone's like, that guy.
That guy can rock.
I can't, and it wasn't your fault. That's my fault.
You could, dude.
These don't do things at the same time.
Drums are so much when you watch someone playing drums, like that I could do that, and then you sit down and you're like, what do I do?
I feel like it should just be like I'm Animal from the Muppets,
right.
And whatever I'm feeling should sound correct.
Yeah, it just come right out of you.
That way.
I agree.
Then I'm like, maybe I'm a lefty drummer somewhere.
Wait, are you left-handed?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's my excuse.
Maybe I'm left-handed with this one thing. I don't know.
I've never seen a left-handed drum kit that I can play, though. So.
The thing about that is, though, and I still want to hear the answer to your question.
I forgot the question you asked.
How did you get into music? But with left-handed, so like when you think about a guitar, right? Like, what's the hard part of playing guitar in your mind? Which hand is the harder part?
Oh, I guess the chord structure for me is it's more detail oriented.
Yeah, right.
Like the other one's just strumming.
So why is this a right-handed guitar? Like I'm left-handed, and I feel like I lucked out that I got a right-handed guitar to play because it's so much like my left hand caught on super quick.
Huh.
And I'm like the macro movements of the right hand. It just seems like it should be the other way around. Micro movements.
Wow.
Yeah, my kids were
micro or
OT for a
macro.
while.
Which one is it?
Like two new podcasts.
Well, I guess that's a good question, but that is
But let's change the subject.
No, I was gonna say it immediately made me think of Like, what else do I hold like this?
gun.
A gun? You hold a gun like that, right?
Wait, I shoot. I'm not sure if I shoot. I shoot left-handed. Yeah, so
You
yeah,
are so
hold a
weird.
gun right-handed.
That's strange.
A baseball bat like this. This is right-handed, right?
Yes.
Boxing, I can do either way.
Yeah. Boxing, you do. If you're right-handed, you lead with your left hand.
Yeah, but that's because you're just distracting with the jab and your power is in the back.
Pugilist.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know you were a pugilist.
I don't know what that word means. What does that mean?
I think it means boxer, right?
Does it?
Does it? I don't know. I didn't know that.
I think you're right because I've only ever heard that word one other time, but it wasn't. It was a form of that word in one of Gage's songs.
Oh.
He says something about drywall pugilism, and I had to look it up, and it meant you punched a hole in the drywall.
Gage,
that
you
is-
brilliant bastard.
Brilliant.
Yes, it's a great songwriter.
Yeah, dude,
Oh, yeah.
Gage is
Oh my God.
awesome.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
He really is. He was a great guest on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm kind of going all over the place today, but before we forget, we are supposed to do a rating of Mike's hair.
Hold
during
on.
Yeah, we're still doing
Oh,
it.
sure. Okay.
What about?
So, yeah, we got this running thing where Mike's hair is the best in the business. So, would you mind just
Except
taking
when
a
we
minute?
had Jason Morton on.
I'm gonna have
Except when Jason
Well,
was
yeah,
here. You can't top that.
compete.
We got different style hair.
Yeah,
though, I
take a
mean,
minute,
you know.
Rory, and kind of give his hair a good look and see what you think. Like 1 out of 10, what would you rate it?
Well, I actually only have one question before I could give an official.
Okay, yeah.
Is the highlight natural?
I'll reveal that when we have 1 million
You've already.
subscribers.
I've asked you that
1 million
before.
YouTube subscribers, and I'll tell you if the highlight's real.
It's not natural. He dyes it.
Shut up. It's natural, all right?
Oh man, I mean, like either way, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm gonna give it a 9 just so that there's room to
Whoa.
grow. You
All
know
right,
what I
cool.
mean?
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
A 9. Can
pretty
you
good.
kind of turn? Give me a.
Yeah.
There's a little couple hairs out of place. Oh, look at the back though. See that where it's coming out of his cowlick?
That's part of that's part of the thing is it's messed up. Like
No,
that's
there's this
kinda
little
part
piece
of
right
the-
back here that's kind of like it looks like you missed it when you were.
we should,
I don't-
we should get a whole separate camera just for the back of his head when you're.
Well, we've done segments where he sits in that orange chair and it spins around. We do like a slow mo
I
thing where
eat
he
a
spins around real slow.
popsicle and spin around
Yeah.
the chair.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a. It does look pretty good today.
Does it?
I'm gonna give it
Feeling really confident.
7.24.
Oh, man,
Cool,
okay.
thanks.
all right.
I'm going 10.
10.
No, I'm
Okay.
just kidding. I don't know. I don't know what I look like right
All right.
now. So
You should feel like a 10.
sweet.
Yeah.
I do now that you guys have really kind of puffed me up a little bit. Thanks. So how'd you get into music?
I got my first guitar when I was 12.
Okay.
And it was like kind of like I am with the drums. I was like, oh, cool. I hear the song. I know what it sounds like in my head. So why doesn't it sound like that when I strum? But it was all Nirvana and Tom Petty, big time. I think that's probably the reason I actually wanted to play guitar was Tom Petty.
Really?
And,
Cool, man.
He's got some good licks.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some songs. I mean,
Yeah. I don't think I've ever listened to Tom Petty and been like, turn this off.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. It's so good listening.
Yeah.
What's
I've heard other people butcher it, and I'm like, turn that off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. His guitarist, Mike somebody, was it? Mike Campbell, I think. Sorry for the snap there. But yeah, I've always just loved the tastefulness of the parts and anyway. So yeah, Tom Petty got you going.
Yeah, and I played a little bit through high school, and then in college I had a couple different groups, and then when I moved here, I met all the people I know like at a karaoke bar when I was grading papers, and
Grading papers.
yeah, I used to work at Chesapeake College.
Oh, yeah.
Wow,
And
that's cool.
I heard John Fray's singing "Oh Sherry," and I like full on like neck snapped at the bar and it's like spun around.
He's got a voice.
And he just.
Is that a Tom Petty song?
No, that's Steve Perry
Oh.
when he broke off from Journey and did
Okay.
a solo run. But yeah, he did that, and I was like, hey, you want to duet to Meatloaf one time, and I'll be the lady, and then he in quick succession we ended up forming the band. John had a broken hand, and I offered to play guitar, and then other Joe, not you, showed up with a drum kit and called his buddy Mike, and that was how Hot Tub Limo got
That's super
started.
cool.
Yeah.
Joe's an awesome drummer, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That guy. And he's a killer singer. I love his voice,
Yeah.
too.
Me too, yeah.
Dude,
Drummers who sing are kind of awesome. And
you
he's,
guys
the cream of the
downplay
crop.
yourself with Equals B because
Yeah, agreed.
that's your current band, right? But man, you guys rock. Like just the energy that you guys have is awesome. I think it is anyway. Like
it's like 90% Joe, 9% Forrest, and 0.9% what I bring to the table. But oh my God, like I couldn't ask for like more fun people to play.
You
music
guys,
with. No offense.
That's what makes it,
totally.
right? Because it just like looks like you guys are having so much fun. You know
and you
what I
have
mean?
that past, like, because you all were in Hot Tub Limited together, and it was, I mean, I'm basing off things Forrest has mentioned to me that like it kind of became a grind and
it was
like,
a business, yeah.
Yeah,
There was
and
a
like,
bottom line involved.
And you guys did, I mean, you guys killed it. Like you
Always that bottom line.
You were doing some really awesome stuff, big shows and making money and all, and but like that sort of like you got to keep the relationship that you all had, but like sort of bring it to a more fun. And does that sound pretty
absolutely
much like?
Yeah, it was just the business part of it became a lot. You know, you're managing. It's what everybody says, like on any time you talk to me, it's just like you're in a relationship. You know, you just get a different thing out of that relationship than you do others. But I mean, it's there was absolutely a chunk of my life where I spent more time in a van and on stage with my friends playing music than I did like with the people I was in relationships with. You know what I mean? It was just crazy.
It can turn into that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, I mean, we would do, at our like absolute peak, we were probably doing like on average 5 shows a week. And, you know, there'd be like a double here and there on top of it. And you'd leave work, you'd get in the van, get home at 2 a.m, go to work, get in the van. Like,
yeah, it becomes a grind for sure.
Yeah. But yeah,
but a fun grind, I guess, the best kind of grind you could have, but still.
I mean, yeah, like.
But that stuff is exhausting, man. Yeah. You know, it really is.
You can only sleep in a van so many times. You know, you can only eat so much Wawa in your life before you're like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Joe, Forrest, and I got to kind of maintain our musical thing, and then it's worked out perfect. John's like a machine when it comes to playing live shows, and so he's got like 3 different bands that he plays with, and he's able to hit everywhere and maintain a great schedule where everybody still gets to see him, but he gets to have fun because it's not the same people behind him all the time. You know what I mean? And like, I mean, we would do stuff just to mess with each other anyway when we were on stage.
Right.
So you know, all that stuff. But it's we are. You guys heard it here first. We are doing a couple reunion shows this summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yes.
Where are you gonna? Do you know where yet? Or?
Yeah, August 16th, we will be performing at Red Eyes with DeFrail.
Oh, Lord have mercy. That's going to be wild.
Yep. And then I think we're doing something. I think we're opening for Trey Landon in Greensboro at the end of August as well.
Greensboro.
Yeah, Greensboro. They do like a big car show kind of.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Thing. So we'll be playing at that, and then we might pepper 1 or 2 other sets in. I mean, if we're gonna take the time to relearn all that stuff.
Yeah, you might as well. Like.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Can I ask a question?
You just
Mike?
did, Joe.
Oh.
Next question.
How did you come? Like the name Equals B. What does that mean? How'd you come up with that?
Oh, so I think the official party line is we don't tell anybody.
Okay, fair enough.
But for the podcast, you can tell us, right?
I'll tell you off camera. No, I can't.
Since only 10 people watch this podcast, could you just tell us?
So, whatever. We were.
It's so easy.
So
Take your
we're
pants
just
off.
talking about Joe, who drums for Hot Tub and Equals. He also plays guitar. He's an incredible guitarist, and he writes like all the melody for our original stuff.
Oh, cool.
As well. And so we, one of our favorite things to do when we were doing the Hot Tub touring was stop at any thrift shop you could find, and it would basically it was like a challenge, like come back with the most ridiculous outfit for the show or whatever it was, you know what I mean? And like,
That's cool.
if there was overalls, you had to buy them, kind of thing. And we came across this really cheap classical guitar, and I just bought it. And it was taped. The tape basically looked like it said Equals B, but it was supposed to be a price tag that somebody had like written quickly. So we didn't know how much it cost. And I was like, I'll take it, whatever it was. I think it was like, I want to say I paid like $8 for it or something that. So, but yeah, that was kind of the joke. We spent forever.
Came from a classical guitar price tag.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Interesting story.
And then where did
I won't tell
Equals
anyone, I
beer
promise.
come from? No, I'm just kidding. And your Equals beer is an IPA, right?
Yeah, it's a blood orange IPA.
Ooh,
Yeah.
man.
I know.
Sometimes I'm like, I want to
hard
try
not to
that.
drink
Yeah,
You know,
it
but
does sound pretty good right now.
it does. Yeah.
Don't you?
I never really did. I never did like IPAs too much though. I don't know. They were just kind of like, but blood orange I do like.
I mean, at the height of it, when people were doing like quads and stuff like that, where they were, you know, hops are very expensive, and people put a lot of them in a beer, and sometimes they don't really maximize what they're capable of, or like, you know, do it in a way that they can recreate the process. So there's definitely some weird, funky IPAs out there.
Yeah.
So did you? Speaking of beer, like, did you brew? You're like a brewer now, right? Or you?
I would
What
say,
don't you do?
Yeah,
That's the
I
question.
don't brew beer. I've designed a few of our beers, like flavor profile and doing the science and the research to make sure we've got all the stuff we need. But I don't actually. I've only been up on the brew deck once with Joe when we brewed our Equals beer. Our inaugural batch we brewed. We were there for the whole process with Brooks and. Yeah, it was just kind of going to be like a goofball thing we were going to do and like sell it at our shows and be like, yeah, we have our own beer.
Dude, it's such a another brilliant idea. I'm like, it's awesome.
Well, I had access to a brewery, so it made it a little easier.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Sure.
But yeah, so we ended up, it was really way too good to not do other stuff with, so.
Yeah. Do you sell it at shows?
I mean, if the venue carries it,
I was gonna say, yeah, probably most around here do it.
I don't really push, like, I'm not a big sales guy. If people want it, they can have it kind of thing.
Okay.
So, I have another question too, which kind of like that last comment kind of
You
was
have
like,
to check with me before you ask it.
I don't or I do?
You have to check with me before you ask
Mike,
it.
can I ask Rory another question?
Can you write it down for a second, see what it is?
Can I borrow your notepad? No, so like back to the bottom line, right? We got to get to the bottom line.
Heck
The
yeah, I
bottom
like where
line
this
of
is
this
going.
podcast is it's supposed to be like entrepreneurship, you know, business related
Atypical
kind
jobs.
of stuff. Atypical jobs? I don't remember ever saying that, but
Like not a
According to
9 to
Mike-
5, like not a 9 to 5.
oh yeah,
He's
right.
on meth now, so.
He's doing meth now, right? Blue meth, yeah.
Should have never told you guys about my.
I feel like we should say
endeavor.
Mike's not really doing meth, but he's taking some kind of supplement. That
Methylene blue.
sounds
Okay,
like
it
meth.
sounds like Breaking Bad meth,
Yeah.
but
It
it's
Also
really
sounds like propane.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely buy that type of propane.
yeah.
It sounds like a
methylene blue,
chemical that's not good for you.
It does. It
That's what
sounds like it sounds like real like grade A propane. Like, but it is a dye for blue jeans, or it was. So I figured you would know about it because you're such a freaking blue jean head.
I am a
Would you say
organic.
you would die for blue jeans?
I'm sorry.
You would die
I
for
would
blue
die
jeans?
for certain ones.
Yeah.
No, I did go through a phase where like I was like super into like selvage denim, you know, and like
yeah.
super nerdy about it.
Those red tags.
And I told Mike all about it, and his eyes glazed over. But you know, it meant a lot to me. But he didn't really
still
care.
this guy goes to thrift stores and hunts for rare books.
Right.
I used
Yeah.
to. I'm not.
Why
not
would you
doing it.
not?
You did do that for a
that's
while,
the
didn't you?
best, man.
Yeah, I did.
You bought books and then resold them on.
Yeah, before it was cool.
He was
before
basically before Amazon. He was Amazon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Okay.
what I was going to ask is, so like you do a lot of the creative stuff at Cult, coming up with the ideas for these different events and coming up with beer. You know, what did you just say? How did you put it? Like the profile? Like
Yeah, just kind of developing.
Yeah. So a lot of the creative stuff, right? But I'm at least getting a little bit of a sense that you've got some somewhat of a business mind also. So like, what would you like? Do you have any type of like business advice, or like what kind of things about running a business have you learned throughout your experiences?
I guess the way I would think about that is like if I could go back and talk to myself 10 or 15 years ago, I think trusting my instincts was really important.
Okay.
Because I think, what's that quote? Like, if you do what you love, then you never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
And I've been doing a lot of this stuff. I mean, I was brewing beer in college. I was playing music in college. Like everything I do now, I've been doing since I was basically 18, 19, 20. But not in like a making money off of it, kind
Right.
of just having fun. So I think that following your instincts is big. I think somebody once told me just jump. like when you have like a really good idea or you're passionate about it. And up until that point, I was like, no, I got to have spreadsheets. I got to write everything down. I got to really like have a whole business plan developed. And I found that to a degree, yeah, you do need to have a plan going into it. But once you've got a plan and you're scared about the next step, sometimes you just got to jump. And that's been really instrumental in helping me get here, which I think is where, I mean, I'm where I want to be. I'm happy. So.
Yeah, man. I would assume so.
It's a pretty sweet gig. I can't really imagine. I mean, I've done the corporate thing. I've done 9 to 5. I've done that in a few different realms, and it was great. And it was a huge building, and everything I learned from that, I brought with me. And then, the last piece just being, you do have to like button up and make sure that the numbers make sense. And,
yeah.
You can't just wing it. So like the big thing for me is like if I say I'm just going to jump on a project, I'm going to track everything along the way, and then afterwards there's got to be that real kind of, I'm at a loss for the word, but that recap. I've got to sit down and really like do that post event piece.
Reckoning kind of.
Yeah. Event post-mortem. There we go.
Okay.
Kind of like what worked, what didn't work, and keep those notes. Make sure, like Mike, I hate my phone, but I live off of it because I can go back and see all the details and notes from all the shows that I've booked and done in the past. And it'll have stuff like, hey, don't do this next time, do that, and like little tweaks that, a year apart, you wouldn't think of it, but that's been very helpful to me. So
that's really interesting, I guess. Man. So I mean, I'm hearing you like you're really good at like taking the creative aspect and like the more scientific business aspect and making sure both of those things are cohesive with each other. And
if they're not, I don't redo it because sometimes not everything is a success. We've had some stuff that it was like, okay, that was not great and we shouldn't do that again. And then sometimes it's like there's a few annual events we do. Like we do a bartender's ball, and we basically just invite anybody in the service industry. It doesn't matter if you're front of house, back of house, if you're, the dishwasher, all the way up to the owner of whatever. It's just a service industry party, and we've done it for a few years now. And the first one was a little slow. The second one got better. The third one was great, and it's growing. And it's one of those things where that's worth it to me. That bottom line might not hit right until year 4 or year 5 in terms of like, hey, this was really worth the investment we put in the first couple, but I know that year 10 it's going to be the biggest party in town and nobody's going to want to miss it. But you've got to have those first few under your belt, and the first ones are difficult because there's all those unknowns. How
do you tell? Sorry, Mike.
No, I was just wondering the same thing.
Do you think, like you mentioned that trust your gut, so do you think that, like, I'm trying to figure out even how to ask this question, but like, how do you know if something is worth continuing? Yeah. Or if it's like, nah, we should just cut our losses.
Luckily, I have an awesome crew. We have 30 people on staff at the brewery, and I think I have a pretty good relationship with all of them. I like them all. And they don't have any problem just coming out and being like, hey, can we not do this anymore? Like, this isn't working. And it's awesome feedback.
Like a collective decision-making process kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
So, it's not like, it's certainly not all me by any means. Like, even these events that are successful and all this stuff, it happens because the people behind the bar, which is kind of the first point of contact for the customers, they know what's going on. They're able to talk about it, and they're able to take feedback and get that to me, because I can't. If we do an event with 500 or 600 people, I'm not gonna interact with all of them.
Right. Yeah. They're like your front line.
Yeah.
Do you guys still do? Are you still
I had another
making
question,
CBD?
Mike. I was gonna ask another question.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Weren't you guys making like hemp oil? Like, I mean, I know you were because Doug used to give it to me.
We like subleased a part of the building.
Oh, okay.
For a while.
Okay, but that's not a thing anymore.
They're over at the business park.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry, I totally killed that conversation with that question.
It's okay.
Joe, you should ask your
Mike's
question.
Just trying to figure out a place to get hemp oil from. Like, Rory, you know any good hookups for hemp oil?
You don't have any on you, do you?
You need any methylene blue?
Yeah.
I got a good steady source for methylene blue, but I need some hemp oil because it kind of jacks me up too much.
You guys make fun of me, but when my mitochondria are like freaking I'm gonna have some killer mitochondria.
Is mitochondria, isn't that like
I'm
part
gonna
of
have
a
no
plant?
free radicals.
Whoa, free radicals.
You only get what you give.
That was good.
What
was
is the
good.
new radicals?
That-
Damn.
Close
That was
enough.
close enough. Yeah,
They're
yeah.
radical.
None of us put it together. All right, what's your question, Joe? I'm sorry.
I was just messing with you. I just wanted to talk over top of you.
Oh, for real? Okay, that's cool. Well, I guess we should wrap it up then.
So the eyes are on you, Mike. What's your next question?
Well, no, but to your point about like mixing business with,
Pleasure.
like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if pleasure is the word, but something that I've always like something I've always kind of admired about you. This is kind of unrelated in a way, but is you're like behind the scenes. Like, okay, so like in Hot Tub Limo, when I started talking to Forrest about how you ran as a band, because I was very interested in like your success, because you guys were really doing awesome stuff, you know. And he was like, it's 100% Rory. Like, Rory does all the thinking for the band, basically. and it's just cool because, like, you know, you're. I don't mean to demean this, but like you're the bass player. That's like on stage. You're kind of, you know, you're not the lead
person.
You're not. It's not that you're the least important, but in most people's eyes, you're the last thing people are looking at a lot of times, unless people play bass, right? Like, you know, it's the lead singer, it's the lead guitar, it's the drums, and the bass. It's kind of like what is that guy doing? I can't hear.
Well, you know
what
what's
he's...
interesting though, because it's kind of like a parallel between like a bass player and like a manager. Like you're holding it all together. You know what I mean?
It's foundational.
In both foundational.
Yeah.
It's just so unfair. Yeah. I think that's what it is. It always seems unfair to me that like because I like growing up, I was always the I didn't sing or anything in bands when I was a kid. I was like the guitarist. You know what I mean? And like, but I was also the one that was like, we got to practice. We got to video the practices. We got to like, you know, book like I was booking all the shows, you know, but then we go play the shows and everyone's looking at the lead singer. And I just felt like, gosh, this is not fair, you know?
I'm not following you. What's not fair about it?
Because like when you see a band, are you being serious?
Yeah, I
Like,
am. I was listening to you and I'm like, I
the
don't
perception is that the lead singer is the leader of the band, and that's rarely the case. Like the actual band leader is usually sort of a background person. That's all.
get it. But you said you were the leader and the guitar player. Oh, everybody's looking.
Everyone's looking at the lead singer.
I'm sorry. It just all of that just went over my head. But
It's all right.
yeah, that was a good point though.
But I like when I looked at Hot Tub Limo, I would have never guessed like, oh, like Rory's doing all this stuff.
Oh,
And,
okay. All right.
you know,
Now it's all coming together.
and when I talked to Forrest about it, that's where I started to have mad respect for you before I really knew you.
Thanks.
And then also I remember this is totally off subject, but I just had this memory when I was talking about during COVID, when you guys were doing the podcast.
yeah.
That was so fun,
That was a
bro.
blast.
That was like one of the best nights of my life.
Yeah.
It was like,
Dude, those nights were nuts.
it was like nothing's going on, like no one's doing anything, but everyone's partying at this house doing and we podcasted out. You got to play a couple tunes. Do you guys still do the artist podcast out of Cult? Or
No.
Is that over?
Yeah. So yeah, Doug's not at the
Doug
brewery
was doing
anymore.
that,
So
okay.
that was a kind of our tandem project.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those were good.
Yeah, they were good. It was fun. It was like eye opening, but I think it's I don't know. I think it's great, like what we were doing, but we were trying to find our footing a lot.
Yeah, it's one of
And,
those things just
And I don't know if we ever like got it fully, but we were on the right track.
just didn't give it enough time or whatever.
Yeah, I think definitely more time we would have been right there. We were tapping into all those connections like we were talking about before between all the musicians in the community, but then you'd also pepper in dated kind of stuff like, hey, what's going on this week? Which this 8 days after that podcast is live doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
Right.
stuff like that was kind of like a learning curve.
We do that sometimes. We talk about like current stuff, and then the episode doesn't get released for like 6 months, and we're like, oh yeah, I'm playing at Jetty tomorrow. And it's like, well, that was 4 months ago.
Yeah, who cares?
And we forget that I take forever to edit these podcasts.
So did the overalls come from the thrift store shopping? How did you get into it?
I never stopped. I was Oshkosh Bagosh out the get go,
Okay.
and then now I finally got a job where I didn't have to wear a suit.
Okay.
So I was like, why would I wear anything else?
That's
It's
like
also
your
super
signature-
practical. It's
Yeah.
Well, it's got a pocket for your notebook.
That's the next one. I was like,
pocket for everything.
yeah. It's like one of those things that I'm like, man, I wish that I had thought to make that my thing. Like the nylon guitar, nylon string guitar, like Steven Wilson Jr. type deal. Where it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's like it's so specialized that you can't go do it now because like you just be copying Rohry if you wore overalls.
I don't.
But like,
I didn't invent them.
Well,
I know, but dude, it's your
Everybody's
thing.
happier in overalls. I wish everybody would wear them every day.
Everyone knows you. Like if I'm talking to somebody and they're like, yeah, like the cult classic guy, like the overall guy, like that's.
I feel like if you
Overall
started,
guy.
Yeah.
If you
overall guy.
the overall guy,
He's an overall guy.
Yeah, right.
More
If you
guy than
started
girl.
playing a nylon string guitar right now, I don't think everybody'd be like, "Oh, you're copying Steven Wilson Jr." But if you started wearing overalls,
It would
everybody
be,
around
yeah.
here would be like, "What are you trying to be, Rory? Like, what's
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's so specialized that.
it's a more local, specialized
Like,
thing,
if
I
you
guess.
find a pair at a thrift store and they fit, you better buy them.
Well,
All right.
You will have a use for them.
Dude,
You could be chopping trees down. You could be You could be digging around under the hood.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
could be kegging beer. You could be playing music.
anything,
Just having a cold one.
any
I don't
type
know
of
if I could do it,
activity.
man. I'm not. It's like
Mething up, whatever.
You doing your blue math?
keep my methylene blue in the bucket.
So, not to drag it on too long, but I had no idea. I mean, I have only really known you for a few years, and to be honest, like, just from Cult and stuff, but the stuff that when you were talking about doing spreadsheets and wearing a suit to your 9-to-5 job, I would never have guessed that. But now that I'm learning a little bit more about like how you approach things at Cult, it's definitely believable. So you did a whole like part of your life where you were like a corporate like business guy.
Yeah. I mean, it was in the education realm.
Okay.
So I worked at colleges for 15 years or so.
Wow.
What did you
Yeah.
do there? Like what?
Mostly like
Janitorial things.
honestly programming. Yeah, that too. But same thing I do now, like putting events on. I would have a budget, and then I would have
Okay.
a group of people that I worked with, and I would program that stuff. But whenever you're at those schools, you become like a part-time counselor. You always pick up a couple of classes as an adjunct and small stuff like that. And,
Really?
Yeah. So
Is that like a thing that's like expected? Is that you're gonna teach some classes too?
I mean, when I go in on something, I'm all in. So like if I take a job, I'm not going to be the bare minimum 40-hour-a-week guy. Like you need a class taught, you want somebody to step up, you want to redo a syllabus, you need somebody to sit on this committee for 2 years and have the same conversation every month. Whatever. I can do that.
Same
Yeah.
conversation.
I mean, what's a committee for? What even are meetings?
To plan the next
You know
meeting.
what I mean? Seriously. Like,
Wow. So-
yeah.
Did you So something I've always been interested in as a musician is booking college gigs because I've always heard they're pretty lucrative.
They got money.
Yeah. Did you do some of that? You booked bands?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. When I started at Salisbury, we had I got to book some huge bands. It was a ton of fun.
Did you do it through the, was it NACA or whatever? Or
Yeah, it's one of the associations.
okay, you
Yeah,
did it all through the association.
Mike's
National
line of questioning
Association.
right here is it's going to end up with what college is the most lucrative and who do I call?
Well, honestly, you are between two of the most expensive colleges in the country, if not the world. Washington College and Georgetown are two of the highest tuition schools in the country.
Huh.
And you're right smack dab in the middle of both of them.
So I ought to hit them up. But they probably book through NACA, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's everything's kind of vetted at that point. But I think one of the things we did when I came to Chesapeake was, you go out and you see these guys playing bar gigs. Back then, it was you're making $150 a night, $200 a night. You might get some tip money on top of it, and I'm paying some guy who's bouncing around the country, and he's talented, he's good, he's got a couple songs out or whatever, but he's making $1,000 to go play for an hour at lunch.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And it's like-
is that it's
That's what I'm trying to get into.
And so that's what
Yeah,
we
dude.
just
No, I
stretched,
totally get it.
Why not? I mean, it's like I looked into it for a while, and what I found was like I had, and that's why I'm asking. But it was like you have to go to these trade show or like showcases and showcase at NACA, and then they book you and all the, or I can't remember all the details. But it was like I was going to be putting out a bunch of money to start, and I was a little bit like, I don't know, this feels like scammy to me. But
I mean, at the end of the day, now it's have a really good EPK.
okay.
You know what I mean? Like have a video that like when somebody clicks play, you better have their attention in the opening 3 seconds because they will be sound asleep. I probably get 10 to 12 emails a day right now from artists like, hey, I want to play a cult classic. And then I'll click the video and I'm like, I'm 4 minutes into it. And I'm like, I haven't heard anything yet. I forgot it was playing in the background because I was waiting to hear something before I switch over.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's attention span. So just grab them early, have something that shows, be affordable. And
if you had to describe a really good EPK, electronic press kit for those.
I was going to ask, what does that stand for?
What would you?
No, that's great.
How would you describe it? That's a great.
For me, it's
this podcast.
it's concise, big time. I would say, you've got your lead video, which should sample. The whole thing should be about 3 minutes, maybe 5 at most. You should have multiple cuts of songs in it, like what you offer, in terms of like. And I would show your range. Like grab their attention early on, play stuff they know. If you're doing it all original, that's obviously harder because they don't know that out of the gate. But you don't have to start the video from the beginning of your song. If you're playing a 4-minute ballad, but like this right before the bridge is your favorite part, cut to that, show that, feature that. Keep the bio short and sweet. They're not there to memorize it. They want to copy and paste it so they can get the tickets live or the announcement live. Links are good. A big thing is like in my world, I've got to see that there is a following. Like there are definitely brand new bands that I'm like, you guys sound great, get on the stage, like let's do it. But there's also like, hey, we're a touring act from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I'm like, I don't know if I've never heard of you, and I don't know if other people have. I feel like I dig pretty hard to find new music, or at least try to expand like the realm of what I listen to. And so if I haven't heard of them, then my immediate thought is, I don't know how hard people are working around here. If it's not on the radio, they might not know who it is. So I guess what I mean to say with that is, put your best clip forward, put your best chorus out there or whatever it is. Just try to grab their attention and don't put too much out there. I mean, I've seen EPKs that take me like 4 minutes to scroll all the way through. It's just page after page. I'm like, I don't care that you released your third studio album in 2012 that featured blah 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 with all these people who I've also never heard of. But I guess the roundabout to that was social links are important, and going to those and being able to see like how many followers they have is important to a degree. Like I know that you can go out there and get 100,000 followers just by clicking a bunch of bot-based stuff, but you can also tell like, hey, on these 2 platforms and Spotify, this person is crushing it, and like they clearly got a fan base. I mean, in a dream world, there'd be a heat map where I could click on it and say like, where are your fans? And for them, they have it on Google Analytics or whatever site you're using to pull it from. But on my end, I've just,
Have you ever had anyone share that with you? Like, here's a screenshot of our Google Analytics to prove, like, as part of their press kit?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, to a degree. Or they'll say like, where, like this is like my followership based on like states or like even by country sometimes, which is it's helpful. But I'm not going to be pulling a lot of people from Myanmar, so
right.
I don't think so anyway.
That'd be wild.
I don't think there's any direct flights to BWI, so.
So. Yeah, that's something we really have. I mean, you have a lot of music business knowledge. I remember talking to you at one point about riders, and like you were telling me about writing a rider up and stuff. And I was like, man, I've never, because I'm solo dude, and I'm not playing huge places, and I've never had to do it, But
it's my favorite part of the package.
Yeah.
So you'll get a contract. It'll come with your stage plot. It'll have the contract, and then you'll get your rider, which is basically a list of demands, for lack of a better term. And it generically some food, some drink, maybe a dinner or a buyout. Like either you have to feed me or give me $20 a person so we can go to Taco Bell.
Methylamine blue.
Yeah, definitely.
In the green room.
And a nice crystal
there's
dish.
like such crazy stuff on riders, and I think it's like such a great opportunity to be creative, have fun, and stand out. Like when I see a generic one, I'm like, dude, you didn't even try. Oh, cool, you want 12 light beers and a pizza after the show. Like I'm glad I know that, but it's like, but then then you get like the hilarious, like the no green.
Yeah.
We want no green jelly beans in our bowl kind of thing. There's a shout out for you, Wes. You like that?
Which that was supposed to be what I heard about that. This is like urban legend maybe, but that Van Halen that did that, right? Or no green M&Ms, I think, or something.
I think so.
And it was that they wanted to make sure that their rider was getting red, so they knew if they walked into the room and there was green M&Ms that there very well could be like a I don't know, like a rafter missing or whatever, a light, like a dangerous situation with all the production they had going on or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that's a cool story.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. But what's an interesting rider to you? Like, it's not so. Actually, maybe a better question is, it sounds like you're saying you like a difficult rider, like that gets you going. You're like, yeah, these guys are kind of assholes. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't say, maybe I wouldn't use the word difficult, because there are certainly difficult riders, like like transportation to and from, like for these X amount of days, and like hotels have to be A, B, C, and D, all that kind of stuff. But I think going back, just kind of that cheeky, like, are they reading it, and also like kind of showing off their personality by like these are the things we like to eat and drink and do.
Yeah, fresca and like things that are very specific or something.
Yes, specific is great.
Okay.
Generic's kind of like okay, but specific's really fun.
So most of are a lot of gigs that you're putting on at Cult Classic, you have riders for those, or
1 in 10 probably.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
More than I
like
thought.
everybody locally is like, they kind of get the drill, like they're gonna get food, they're gonna get drinks.
Yeah.
Regionally, like occasionally I'll have to go out and grab a thing or two, and then for the big national acts, that's where you've got like a person who dedicates 4 hours one day to going shopping at 3 different stores to make sure everything's just right. And then of course when you have that, the best part about those things is you're like, okay, we spent $450 filling out rider requirements between food and drink and some odds and ends and things like that. And then you go in after the show and it's like untouched. Just like, You'd be like, oh, you needed a deli tray with like 9 specific weird fruits and stuff on the side, and like no one touched it. It's just sitting there.
Oh wow,
man. That's got to be frustrating.
Yeah.
Do you get to take that deli tray home?
Hell yeah! Well, actually, the staff descends upon.
Okay, so that
leftover
works
food.
out.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing really goes to waste in that sense.
Maybe it's not frustrating. It's exciting. You're like, yes, now we got all this free stuff.
Well, when
Or
they
not
help
free, but
put it all together and lay it out, they're all sitting there like, do you think there's gonna be any left? What are you doing?
they're gonna eat that salami or what?
Wow.
Well, that's pretty cool, man. That's very interesting stuff.
It makes me wish I was in a position to, like,
You could just do. I was thinking I'm gonna start sending riders to like
Poorhouse.
Poorhouse and Island Pub.
I was thinking about
ridiculous
doing
stuff.
the whole
4
contract, like
Red Bull limited edition watermelon blueberry
Exactly.
guava.
Yeah.
Do they have that? Is that real?
Probably.
I don't.
Real.
I don't want 2 16-ounce cans. I want 4 12-ounce cans.
Do
That's
not
what I
give.
want.
Yeah, I have to have 8.4 ounce Red Bulls, otherwise I can't regulate correctly.
Exactly.
Too much.
Gets too warm. I always appreciate, like, there's a few local places that I play, and I always appreciate when they have. It's not a rider, because they'd be coming for me, but it's just like a real basic contract. Like, if this, then this. You're responsible for this. Like, it is nice to have it all written out, and because most of the gigs we book, it's like so much is not worked out, and there's stuff that comes up, and it's like, well, we never talked about any of this, and a lot of times the artist just kind of ends up eating it, or whatever. Like we double booked, sorry, like it would be nice. It's just it would be nice to have
some kind of clause for that.
Yeah.
Something in writing.
And for private stuff, it's no problem. People don't balk at it. But I feel like around here, it's like there's so many people playing and just willing to play that it's like if you start being pretty demanding about stuff, that it's like
Yeah, we've talked about that several times. For me, I have that thought a lot. Like, I'm gonna start sending contracts to every place I play, but then I'm like, are they just gonna be like, yeah, no thanks, dude? We're not trying to deal with all that, because there's There's a Mike Losky around the corner that's willing to play without a contract.
For $25 less.
Oh no!
No.
Oh no!
Joe and I
Are
are
you
always,
undercutting him?
no, we always try to see who can get the most money.
Yeah, we
Good.
do. We communicate
raise the boats.
very well about like rates and are you going to raise your rate? And I raised my rate by $1.50, so I'm going to do that too. Mike, you may see if you go see Mike play in any of these fine establishments. In the near future, you may see that he completely stole my tip sign.
Bro, I totally
Look,
did.
he literally texted me
You
and
sent
said
it to me.
I did.
What was I gonna do?
You mean he like went to your show and stole the whole? That'd be great.
He texted me and said, "Hey, can you share the Canva template with me
I
so
didn't
I can
hide
go in there?"
anything about what was
So
going to
you
happen.
know what I did? He doesn't know this yet, but I let him change it, and then I went back in, and those QR codes for Venmo, I changed them back to mine. So when they go to send him a tip, it's coming straight to me.
You just log in that night, change your name real
Yep,
quick
yep.
on Canva.
No,
Yep.
he did okay. You, in all fairness, you made your tip sign with Canva templates. You found the only cool template
I did.
that is on Canva because all the other ones suck. And what was I supposed to do? I changed some colors.
You did change, and the font. You changed the font
Did I?
too. I think so.
That was an accident.
Would
Then.
you say it has positively impacted your tips?
Dude, so last night was the first time I
He
used
made
it.
like $300 in Venmo tips last night.
No, that's not true. But
That's a lot.
I made
10%.
I
for-
made 50.
for the venue I was at. I will say that I quadrupled my tips, and as I was watching people do it, I was like, what if I realized how easy it is to just point your phone, and like it made me realize what I've been expecting of people is, even though it's not that much work, it's a lot of work nowadays to have someone have to like go get their phone out, go to PayPal, go to search, type in your
God,
name,
yeah.
they got to look at the board. How
They
do I
gotta really
spell
wanna
it?
do it.
Yeah, they got to know the last 4 digits of your freaking phone number, which I've written I had on my old tip. It's a lot of steps, and like, watching people just point their phone, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been leaving so much money on the table by not having a QR code.
Yeah, the QR
thing,
codes
so-
are very helpful.
Yeah.
I need to revise mine because, like you were talking about with the EPKs, like making it concise. I have like 17 different QR codes on my tip sign because I have.
It's not a tip sign at that point. It's
It's like an information sign because I've got the Facebook QR code, the Instagram
like a link
QR
tree
code.
kinda.
I'm like, I ran into a lady, a marketing lady at one of the gigs, and she was telling me like, you need to change this tip sign, make your logo bigger, and only have like the tip QR codes. Just forget about the other QR codes. They'll find you if they want to. I'm like, yeah, that's a good point.
And thankfully, Joe got that information before I made my tip sign.
Yeah, and I told him that
because I was going to
information.
totally
He was gonna-
verbatim copy Joe's because I liked it. It was good. It's like I told him. I said,
good.
What is it?
It's
Something is the imitation is the flattery.
Highest form of flattery.
Yeah.
Right, and that's when you kind of
Mediocrity
bugged off a little bit because you were a
I mean,
little
look at the
pissed
shirt
off.
he's wearing. He tried to find a shirt exactly the same as mine.
But I was gonna do that, all that
It's the
Instagram
same
and all that
spots.
stuff, and it's like, yeah, this is a thrift store find,
Every time. Last episode, you wore a shirt that I would normally wear. The
Did I?
one that have lobsters on it.
Oh yeah, the lobster shirt. That's a freaking weird shirt. Gosh. It's like you look
Mike,
down
I
and there's
showed
like
Mike-
little
look,
bugs coming up at you.
I showed Mike a
Is that
clip.
the meth talking?
I showed Mike a clip of the last episode, and like he starts off talking in the beginning of the episode. He was just laughing and laughing. He was like, "I am so funny."
I was being pretty funny.
He's talking about the lobster shirt. I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, it's
I didn't
kinda
remember
funny."
any of it, but I was like, dude, I would laugh at this if I was watching.
Dude, you were just like belting it out. You really,
I was like,
you really
laughing out
tickled
loud
yourself
at
with that one. All right. Well, it's
right.
been over an hour. I mean, I think we got a pretty good amount of information. We got you to tell us where the equals B name came from. So I mean, that's gold right there.
It's gonna be.
Yep.
Internet's gonna break. Watch
The
out.
internet is going to blow up.
Band members are gonna quit.
No, but all that stuff about I had no idea that you had like such a business and numbers mind, and it makes sense now why a lot of the stuff that cult in general has been so successful so far, because combining that creativity stuff, like the ideas that you guys come up with is really cool, and the whole creative look that the whole place has, and also keeping in mind that like you can't lose money. You know what I mean? You gotta stay afloat. It all makes sense to me now. You know, it was just a mystery before.
Yeah, it's cool too that you you did construction, right? You're saying you you did the physical like construction of that place, or not like by yourself, but had a part of it. Like that's cool, man.
It is cool. Yeah.
That's like such a deep level of connection to a
My
job.
blood is in that building.
Yeah, that's
in
awesome.
a lot of places.
Yeah, that's so cool, man.
Yeah.
Now you lived here. Not to start a whole nother conversation, but I'm going to start.
It's okay.
You lived here when it was actually Acme,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
like,
yeah.
It's so cool to me, like, because I remember going in that store, like, and it's like,
You can
this is the
still see it when
freaking
you walk
Acme.
around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, like if you're in it, you can be like, oh yeah, this is where the registers were, and that was the florist. There's the
Strawberries.
butcher.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy that Acme on Kent Island like didn't make it. You know.
So apparently, I learned a lot. But basically, it has a lot to do with square footage, and grocery stores need to be a certain size to accommodate the community and the product they're bringing in. So like we see on Kent Island happenings all the time. We want a Trader Joe's, or we want a Harris Teeter, and it's like you have no idea like the population you need to have to even start that conversation. Like we have 15,000 people on Kent Island, 50,000 in the whole county, but like no, we're not getting a Harris Teeter.
Yeah.
That's preposterous.
Is that all on Kent Island? 15,000?
Yeah, I think it's 10,000 in Stevensville, 5,000 in Chester per the last census.
I would have guessed more than that, but
People rumor that it can be as high as 25,000, and we do have a snowbird community that goes south, and so their official residents might be, Florida or the Georgia or the Carolinas or whatever. But yeah, I think about 15,000 is pretty much what we use for numbers when we're.
And that's way more than it. I mean, that's pretty recent that it's jumped up that like.
Yeah.
Because I think when I was a kid, it was like 8,000 total or something like that.
I mean, they think they've added maybe 5,000 homes in the last 10 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a lot of building for sure.
I used to be obsessed with populations. Like I had all the city populations memorized, and I knew like the city proper versus the, because there's like the, anyway, yeah.
No, go on.
That's it. That's all. So I was very in tune with what the population was. I was
From our standpoint, it's important. I mean, I got to know like if I need 1,000 people to come to a show, like how many can I pull locally versus what I need to.
Yeah, what are you like if you're doing 1,000-person show? Like, what is the ratio? Not, I know it's not the same all the time, but in general, like, is it a lot of? How far are people coming from?
We'll always get somebody who came up from like somewhere down south. We'll always get somebody who came down from somewhere up north. But I mean, the bulk of our traffic is here, Annapolis, and I wouldn't even like Severna Park. Cutting up Route 2. But the bulk of it is really centered right on Kent Island, and then everybody knows the drill. Like the bridge is its own beast, and people always say like, "Oh, I'd come here, but like I don't want to drive over that bridge." And it's like it took me 12 minutes to get to the mall the other day.
Yeah,
Right.
It's insane how
I was like, I had to go see Gladiator 2 for like the 5th time, and I was like, it took me 12 minutes to get there. That's crazy.
It is funny how like with us living so close to the Chesapeake Bay, like for me, it's like I drive over the bridge and I forget that I just drove over. Like I don't even pay
it's not
attention. You know what I mean? But people who don't do it, they're like, "Holy shit, I'm not driving over that thing." It gets so freaked out about it.
I think that's one of the coolest businesses. Another business I wish I had thought of, that Chesapeake Bridge drive over people. Like, what a great idea.
People that drive you across the bridge.
You get paid. Yeah, I used to be. My old studio was above the offices for that place, and I just thought, man, those guys are geniuses. Mm-hmm. Wish I had thought of that.
That's a good idea. Yeah. I had a great aunt who she lived to be like, I don't know, 80 something or 90. Lived in Graysonville her whole life. Queen Anne's County. Never drove across the Bay Bridge. She didn't drive a car, but would not even ride in a car across the bridge in her entire life. And we have family that lives in North Carolina, and they would go down every year up and around the bay every time.
Dang on.
Yep. Would not drive across the bridge. Just wouldn't do it.
So when you say here, do you like does Easton? You get a lot of Easton people, or you don't know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, I would think so.
Yeah.
Like, because this is, I mean, even that's so cool. That's such a testament, I think, that you're getting people from Annapolis and Severna Park, because there really is, like, when I talk about Cult Classic to people, it's usually students of mine, like, because I'm trying to push them to go to Talent Tuesday, you know, but or their parents trying to, you know, tell them, take your kid to Talent Tuesday. It's like, it's the best music room around. And when I say around, I don't mean like on Kent Island. I mean like in
the world.
In the world. No, I mean, like, you would think Annapolis that there would be a comparable place, but there's not. Like, I mean, I guess Vibe was the thing for a little while, and that's gone, right? Vibe's gone. Do you know?
That's a good question.
Was that in Annapolis?
I'm pretty sure Vibe's gone.
It was the old Union Jacks, which was.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least their open mic night's gone. I know that, but I don't know if to play.
They had a cool stage in there.
Yeah, like, it was like the closest thing to Cult Classic that I knew of. And then there was it the Whiskey, or
Yeah.
was a pretty cool
That
spot,
place
but
was
that's
pretty
gone,
cool.
you know.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Car dealership now. Or is it a Taco Bell? think it's a
I don't
Taco
know.
Bell now.
I can't.
it just blows my mind that there isn't, because of like how many musicians, like you're saying, the music community around here is so vibrant and everything. It's crazy that there aren't more places like Cult Classic. But
Well, it's a great idea. I mean, we needed a Cult Classic, you know, before it was here, because there's a bunch of good musicians, from Annapolis to Easton. I mean, there's probably ones further than that in the general area, but
yeah.
It's a cool spot, man. One of the you were talking about, like, how much I don't remember exactly what sparked this thought in my mind, but I had this thought like a while ago when we were doing that the country tribute thing. You were talking about having all the good musicians together. And we did White House Road, the Tyler Childers song, and it was like Justin Singleton and Gage and Ryan Keith, who I had never met before, and he's freaking awesome, and his band was awesome, and I got to go up on stage and, like, we were all singing that. I was like,
Yes, man.
dude, it was so surreal.
one of those magical moments.
It really was. Like, that sounds so cliche, but it was the most fun I can remember having in a long time. Like, that moment, I was just like, this is so cool, you know?
And you got a good crowd, and it's like everyone's there to rock, and yeah, it's awesome.
And, like, the band was just awesome. They were so good. That guy Dan playing drums was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
The guitar players were so awesome. Everybody.
And also, as you were talking about that, it made me think. It's gonna sound like we're kind of blowing sunshine up your butt, but not. But maybe we are. But, like, you're always so open to, like, I mean, when we wanted to record a video, I think we texted, like, that day, like, hey, can we come record a video in the back of the, like, in the back room or whatever? You're like, hey, come on in, like, no big deal. And then, like, you did with Josh on the roof, you know.
My God.
That was cool.
That video's incredible.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Oh.
I thought that turned out really good. It was fun.
And just being like, yeah, come on in.
Even though I messed it up the first day, we had to go back again.
He told me that, and I was like, it's just like, but like the final result was so perfect.
Yeah.
It's like Goosebumps kind of stuff. As soon as it cues up and you get the sun setting, and then you, like, manage to capture just, like, the desolateness up there, but also, like,
it was tricky to
It was
kind
a good idea to even do. Like, was that Josh's idea?
It was his idea. Yeah,
it's a great idea.
It was a super awesome idea. And then, like, when we started doing, like, when we got up there, I was like, it's such a cool idea, but it's just this giant white roof. Yeah. So, like,
you have to give it perspective somehow.
Yeah, so having the drone and, like, getting the mural in the front of the building, you know, I was like, okay, that's really cool. And then at the end where it, like, was pulling away from him, you know, and he's, like, walking away, I thought those were cool touches. But that was a lot of fun. Yeah. And like, we hit you up. We're like, yeah, go ahead, you know, do it, man. And I did one with Miggs in the.
That's what I'm thinking of in the back room,
in the storage area with the big random statues, like, in the background.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah, did your Gage one on the boat?
Thanks, man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know what? That was my favorite out of all of the ones I've done, even the ones with Mike. Believe it or not.
I would imagine that between that and the Josh one, whichever those two blow up first is going to be the first to hit 1 million views for you, if you haven't already.
No, we're not even close. But yeah, those were both fun. But, you know, I was just thinking the other day, Gage did 3 songs that evening, and, you know, like any good musician, there was one where he was like, I just don't really think I did that great on the performance of that one. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It was awesome. So we haven't released that. And just the other day, I was thinking, like, I'm gonna ask him again. Like, hey,
Yeah,
let's go
maybe.
ahead and release that one. You know what I mean? We never did. Maybe he'll say yes. You know, but obviously I have to respect his opinion if he doesn't want to release
Or
it.
just sell it for an absurd amount of money.
do that,
It's
yeah.
What was the John Prine song, and what was the other one?
It was an original song.
Oh, okay.
That there was. Oh, the John Prime one, and then I can't remember what the other two were right off the top of my head. One was an original for sure. I think it was the original one that he didn't feel like he nailed it, you know what I mean? Even though I thought it was awesome. My dad was on the boat. He was like, that guy's really good. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But yeah, I can't remember what the other song was.
Yeah, that's all right. No
But
big deal.
they were both really good.
Cool.
It was a cool idea too. That was my idea.
the whole concept of like taking these people and putting them in these unique spaces.
Yeah.
It's vastly different than what anybody else is doing, and it's wonderful.
I
Like a lot of
appreciate
people
that,
are
man.
like, this is my spot, and I'll bring the same group into the same spot all the time. It's like, nah, put them in their natural element.
Yeah.
And let them.
Well, having like somebody play music like acoustically, like in an outdoor location that is a cool location, it just like adds so much to the whole video aspect of it. You know,
Absolutely.
one of the first ones we did that I was like, this is really cool, was the one that you did, and it was a cover song, kind of a worship song, but
Yeah, down on the water
Yeah.
in my own neighborhood.
yeah, that video, like the lighting was really good in that particular video. I remember like after we did that, I was like, this is really cool. You know, this is a cool idea.
Yeah, and I think before that you had started doing them in that park in Centerville, but then
Was
you
that
were
before?
like, Joe always wants more. It's like, we got to get some water.
Gotta get some
We got to get we got to get it right when the sun's like right. It was like everything had to be time perfect.
That was a
and
cool
all-
spot
yeah.
too, because we had some like big trees in that backyard that like provided some shade, so you could see the sunset in the background, but there wasn't like all this harsh sun on Mike's face. It was kind of like coming through the leaves and stuff, you know. So it was cool. Thanks for pointing that out, man.
Thanks for making them. I watch them on the regular.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I want to make a compilation now that we're talking about the electronic press kit, just like
Yeah.
a compilation.
Well,
of
we
the-
gotta, Mike. You know, you gotta come up with some new stuff so we can plan another one.
All right, cool.
You know.
How about we do one in Rory's bathroom, maybe? Rory's bathroom?
I don't know. What's your bathroom look like?
Are you talking about like my personal one? It's kind
Or
of
the
cool,
or
but
the
it's not
Nicolas
that-
Cage
The
bathroom.
Nicolas Cage bathroom is what I was
Okay.
thinking.
The acoustics are garbage in there. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that right now.
The P poster behind me and everything. I don't know. Yeah, let's think about it. I do want to do a new one.
All
It's
right.
been a while.
Fair enough.
I'm
Well-
just worried you're going to charge me. That's the thing.
Oh, I am. Yeah. No more free
Joe
rides.
charges me, everyone, okay?
No, I have never charged you for any
I know,
of
I
the probably 15 videos we've done together.
I know. That's why I feel bad
The
asking to do
16th
more.
one, you're getting the full rate.
And you know I'm not going to
16,
pay.
yeah.
Sweet 16, exactly.
Good business, Mike. Got to get that bottom line.
It's the bottom line, man. You always got to get to the bottom line. Well, speaking of the bottom line, we should probably wrap it up. I feel like it's been. Oh, did you see
Nice
that catch?
catch.
Dang on it.
Thank you.
just
Is there
got
anything?
emasculated.
Is there anything else that you'd like to tell our audience of 10 to 20 people before we wrap it up? Anything?
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, man.
I've been working with you for a couple of years. I've known you for a long time now.
Long
man.
time, yeah.
We're getting on there. Not quite you in force level, but no, I think I love what you're doing, and I'm excited. I know you're saying like you got 9 or 10 right now, but keep on trucking. This will be the stuff people go back to when Gage hits it big, and when Josh, who's your next guest, hits it big.
Heck
and
yeah.
When Jason Morton inevitably is like,
Yeah.
destroying Nashville and everywhere else on the
Yeah.
planet because he's incredible.
Yep. Absolutely.
Who else should we have on? We should ask him that. Cause
You
he's-
got to ask Brandon Hardesty. I know he's
Oh, that's a good
super
idea.
big time, but
Yeah.
man, he is just a fascinating person and like really grinding. You talk about the
Yeah.
shift. Like this guy's the amount of knowledge he has on like how to monetize his merch is off the charts. He's playing He's playing Red Rocks like
Wow, I didn't know that.
oh yeah.
That's amazing.
They're so good. They're
Yeah.
so good. So,
yeah, I know
if
that
you
they're
get-
very
if you get him,
successful. That's a great
He
idea.
is awesome.
I'm
Cool.
gonna hit him up. You know what? Jordan Sokol actually messaged me the other day because he couldn't play at Mamma Mia's.
Yeah, I got that.
And
Playing the brewery tomorrow.
is he?
Yeah.
Really?
Pressing strings.
Yeah. Well, I forgot that they don't like me at Mamma Mia's because first I was like, yeah, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute, they don't like me there. But he would be a good guest too. But
Oh, yeah.
we're really hoping that this episode really pushes us over the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I take that star power and just ride it.
Yeah. Well, at the end, you know, like on YouTube, you can put the little pages on at the end of the thing, the little thing you click on to watch the next one. So we'll put Jason at the end of this one, and then, or maybe Josh, but link them all together so that way people just continually just watch it over and over again. Yeah.
Because there is Jason and I do have a link super quick. We went to college together at Salisbury, and we were actually.
You went to Salisbury?
Yeah.
You guys should
I went to Salisbury.
Seagull, baby?
Holy crap. What year did you graduate? How old are you?
Wow. Woof.
I've been meaning to ask you
How
that.
long do you have? No. So I graduated in 04 with my undergrad.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
I
I'm that
graduated in 05. I should have graduated in 04.
What?
But I was
Wait,
kind
we were
of
there at the same time. Forrest was there too.
That's wild, man.
But yeah, Jason and I acted in a play like our senior year together. It was a 3-person play, and we were in it together.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a Anton Chekhov. I forget the name of it. but,
Holy
yeah,
crap. I did not know that.
crazy. Yeah.
Well, next time we'll have to talk about Salisbury and like maybe we ran into each other at some point.
Oh, I'm sure if we dug hard enough.
Probably, yeah. That's crazy, man. I mean, there were a lot of people there, but I'm surprised. I bet you if we think and we talk about it, there's probably a time we crossed paths.
Yeah.
You know, I was probably quite intoxicated, is why I don't remember it.
It's good to get it out of your system.
It is,
when
yeah.
you're young.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks again, dude. Much
thanks,
appreciated. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate
And,
it, brother.
Look
Back at
forward to
you.
the next time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cheers.
Well, I don't know. It's good.
We normally say bye to the camera.
We need we need like a signing off thing or something.
Bye.
Yeah.